Hello, it's the Goof again. I wanted to make something of a follow-up video to a video I did before. I've talked about at one point my issues with animation and how there wasn't much of anything good anymore. Well, I want to talk about what is good, what's still around. I want to focus on what animated shows that I watched that I think are really great, that show effort, that show integrity, that show creativeness. You can't make money off of something if it's not done well. You have to focus on the art. You have to focus on making something creative and great, first and foremost. When you make something great, first and foremost, that's artistic, that's meant to say something, the money comes. The money comes once you do that. But don't focus on it being a product. You have to focus on just making something great that really grabs people. Now I'm going to talk about shows that I feel do that. I mentioned it before, but I think, even though I question the animation style and everything, I think that Adventure Time is really good. A little confusing at times. Sorry. A little confusing at times, but really good nonetheless. Another show that's pretty decent is Gumball. It's a weird hodgepodge of styles. Like, there's some CG characters, I think there's some claymation type characters, there's characters that are meant to look like Muppets, there's characters that are literally there's a character that's literally somebody's actual real life head upside down with a dress on it, always eating or doing something weird, little beady eyes on the chin. It's basically upside down. It looks really funny. So it's an inventive show. It's pretty funny at times, and I like it. It's not horrible. Let's see, Clarence recently, and I mentioned this. I really love Clarence. I think it's funny. I think it's cute. It's adorable. I don't. It's another show where I look at the animation and go, And why does Clarence have no ears? Would it have been so hard just to draw little half circles? Say, there's his ears. He has no ears. That's weird. Moving on. Sorry for yawning so much. Moving on. The series Avatar, the Last Airbender. I loved that. I watched it all the way through. I thought it was fantastic. It was one of those times where everything came together. Likewise, The Legend of Korra. It all just comes together really well. And I think that's why it gets the views. I say views because I'm so used to using YouTube, but that it gets how do I say this? Gets the ratings it gets. It gets all the people who watch it. It's a good show, and that's good. It's well made. It's artistic. It's anime. And if you don't realize it's anime, something's wrong with you. And I love how it literally draws on Asian culture a bit, quite a bit. Chinese, I think some Japanese. I think the only culture that there's even a culture of people who look like they might be Eskimos. I don't know. It's hard to say what these different races are. They mostly all seem based on Asian races, or cultures. Sorry, I know some people get tired of somebody referring to each one as race. We're all part of one race, human race. Okay, I get that. I'm sorry, I'm just so used to saying it like that. But, there's Chinese. You can tell which ones are Chinese, which ones are very Japanese-like. The Fire Nation is very Japanese-like. The Last Airbender movie was terrible. There weren't enough the different Asian cultures that I consider Asian. I do not consider India part of Asia. I don't. I consider India part of the other going back towards. Yeah, I know it's going to offend some people, and I'm sorry, but I do consider them more part of those cultures, not so much Asian cultures. Most Asians all have very similar appearances and physical features, very similar. When you get to people who are from India, they don't look anything like any of the other Asian cultures. they don't look like anything similar to Chinese or Korean or Japanese. They look very different. They look more like they might be related to uh, other nationalities. I won't go any more detail than that, but I really feel he really screwed up on that movie. What is the name? M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong? Yeah, Shyamalama. I don't like that guy. His movies are horrible to me. The Village was horrible. Sorry. Anyhow, back on the topic of the animation and The Legend of Korra in general. It's a great show. I love it. It would be nice if there was a culture based more on based around Western culture. Yeah. I can't tell if any of the benders. I can't tell if any of the benders are similar to Americans, or Britannians maybe. I can't tell. I don't really think there is. I can't. Sometimes I look at the. Sometimes I feel like the Earth Kingdom might be maybe a little, but then other times I'm like, no. They're all just very based on Asian culture. Just the immediate Asians. The Asian cultures that are more fascinating to me. Chinese, the Japanese, or Nippon. Nippon. They're not really called Japanese. The rest of the world calls them Japan. They've never considered themselves Japan. They've always called themselves. I think they've always considered Nippon. Nippon. I think that's correct. I'm not sure. I don't even think the Chinese have ever referred to themselves as Chinese at first. I think that's something the rest of the world started calling them, and so they, I guess, eventually followed suit. Yes, sent from China. I don't know, but I love that show. I love The Legend of Korra. Before that, I loved I loved you'll have to forgive me. I'm the Last Airbender, and I loved them. So I'm going to keep watching those. It's kind of sad. I'm going to steer off a little bit here. It's kind of sad that when they made the newer Thundercats, they tried so hard to it almost felt like they were trying to compete with the Airbender series, with the Legend of Korra series and whatnot. They were trying to kind of compete with that only on. The problem is they didn't have the same kind of talent. They didn't have the same kind of writing going on. They didn't have this. They kept having Lion-O revisit the same issues. He kept learning the same things over and over again. He kept dealing with a lot of the same stuff over and over again, and it was just repetitive. It was ridiculous. I was like, does he never learn his lessons? I don't know. They did pretty good to an extent. I didn't like his hair. Lion-O looked horrible. His dad looked pretty good. His dad reminded me of the original Lion-O a bit. Not just because he was the same guy being voiced as him, but another thing that irked me is they weren't going planet to planet. It was all on one planet. Really? It was all on the same planet. I don't know. My nose is getting stopped up. My voice starts to sound weird. This happens. I don't know why it happens. I wish it would stop happening. I don't know. It happens to me in my sleep. When I'm sleeping, all of a sudden it just closes up and it becomes an issue. It's horrible. Anyhow, what was I talking about? Animated shows in general, just those are the good ones that I've mentioned. Those are the ones that I like. Before that, I used to watch Ed, Edd n Eddy. I thought that was a great animated show. I used to watch Batman the Animated Series. That was really great. That was really well done. There was just a lot of shows in the past that are well done, but now it seems like shows that are bad outweigh the shows that are good. I mentioned this before. I'll go ahead and mention them again. Total Drama, whatever. Any of those are horrible. Johnny Test, not very good. Just any of those animated shows that do that. And then there's all the live-action crap, the teen comedies that are driving me up the wall. I miss when Disney XD was Toon Disney. I miss that. I miss all those characters. I miss even Disney stopped trying. Have you seen the animated shows they have now? They've stopped trying. That's what it feels like. All the types of shows that they used to be creative and they used to come up with are gone. We had Chippendales Rescue Rangers, we had Tailspin, we had Darkwing Duck, we had DuckTales, we had Disney just cranked out some great shows at one point, and then all of a sudden it just went to hell. I've heard things that I'm so sorry. I've heard things about what happened. It used to be a lot of animated shows were literally done by Japanese animation studios. At the time, they were cheap labor. Basically, is what happened. They were cheap labor. Eventually, Japan started. It started costing more money to have Japanese studios do these shows. So eventually, we stopped hiring them so much. I'm not sure what kind of deal was worked out for having the Legend of Korra. For that matter, Boondocks looks very anime. I don't know how we're getting those shows done. If that is what happened, I don't know. Maybe we just stopped. Maybe we just started hiring in the U.S. more. That's understandable. But unfortunately, then we have the CG stuff that keeps happening. The only show, to my mind, that works with CG, that works well, that's working out, that I love watching is the newest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Nick. That's the only show that's CG that works to me. Green Lantern looked horrible, even though it was CG. Batman, Beware the Batman was horrible. But I don't think it was really so much it was CG. And I've talked about this before. I think it was partly just the designs of the characters and so forth, the stories, the fact that they did not include familiar villains and other characters, and they just changed things up so much to the point that people just didn't want to watch it. I don't know. I think if they had done better. Before that, I used to love watching Justice League. Justice League was a great show. Flapjack was a great show. Flapjack was created by the same guys who now work on Regular Show. Regular Show sucks. It's horrible. I wish it would go away. I've said this before. And that's pretty much it. I pretty much said what I wanted to say about animation. For the most part, I watch anime mostly. I watch Attack on Titan. I watch anime a lot. I watch Attack on Titan and Space Dandy. Space Dandy's really good. I'm not a big fan of Naruto. I wish it would die. And I'm glad he slowed down. He doesn't say it so often anymore. He used to constantly say, "Believe it! Believe it! Believe it!" And at one point I was watching, and I said, if you were real life and in front of me, I would kick you in the nuts. Believe it. I can't stand Naruto, and I wish it would just die. What else do I watch? Blue something. I can't remember what it's called. Blue Exorcist? Is that what it's called? That's a pretty good show. A lot of the anime shows are really good that are on TV. And that's sad that most of the good animated shows are done in Japan. It's really sad. That's real sad. The effort is still... But here's the thing about Japan. A vast majority of the shows that are shown on Japanese television, be it a drama, an action film, a sci-fi, it doesn't matter. Or a lot of them are anime. They just don't have the budget or the locations and so forth to make it's basically circumstances that cause it to be this way. To make live action stuff and everything like we do over here, they just don't have that kind of room, that kind of, I guess, budgeting and whatnot. And it's just because of circumstances, they do a lot of anime. They still have game shows and stuff. They have shows that are live action, that are like game shows. I think there are a few soap operas that are Japanese. You know, they have live action. And there's the really crazy shows that you watch. I used to love watching, what was his name, Hard Gay. That guy was hilarious. I would have loved to have gone to Japan and met the dude. He's not really gay, he just kind of, he takes on this stereotypical gay facade. This gay facade. He's not, I don't think he's actually gay. But he goes around dressed like some sort of perverted gay a dominator. You know, like, you know, there's dominatrix, and then there's doms, a male dominatrix, basically. Just that real stereotypical gay look, like you see in porn, some porn flicks. In fact, I don't even rarely see that in a porn flick. But he goes around, just embarrasses the hell out of people. But at the same time, I've seen him help people too. He does these weird things where he tries to help people. and stuff. That was hilarious. This whole video has gone completely off topic. It's becoming a rant. I think most of my videos are going to end up being just rants at some point. Be warned of that. I just like to talk. It happens. It happens, and you got to get used to it happening. Every time I start doing something like this, you're going to notice. See, I have voices. I can do voices. I'm telling you. I'm very good at voices. Here's one of them right here. I don't know where I've heard it before, but I can do it. And then there's other voices like this. I can do voices like this. I don't know what kind of voice this is, but I can do this voice. I've never heard anybody talk like this before. I don't know who I've heard talk like this before, but they've talked like this before. I've heard it, and I don't remember where I heard it, but now I duplicate it. I like doing these voices. This is a very good voice. I don't know where I've heard it before. You can all tell me. If you've heard a voice like this before, you tell me where you've heard it, because I don't know where I got it from. I'm really good at these voices. It's crazy. This video has just gone off the deep end. This video has really gone off the deep end. I can't help it. But I like doing those words. I'll tell you what. Yeah, hell yeah, buddy. I've been in the South, so I've heard all kinds of voices like that. Oh, wait, doggy. All those kinds of voices I've heard growing up. And then there's, TV, and there's that guy who sounds like this. In a world, it kind of sounds like Duke Nukem, but not quite. Not quite like Duke Nukem. But it sounds a little like him. He does the announcements for the TV shows. What is it? I made fun of my sister once. I won't say her name. I'll just make up a name, but I did this to my sister once. She got pretty upset about it. At the time, I felt as if my sister was being a sponge, was being a leech, was being a freeloader. I felt like she wanted to contribute, but only how she wanted to contribute, which was primarily food. She bought food for the house, but it was stuff I couldn't eat half the time. It was too spicy. It was too, I don't know. There were some things she would get, and I was like, okay, I can eat that. But it was rare, few and far between. She didn't want to help with the actual bills themselves. So what happened was, at one point I made this joke. I went up and I said, she moved in with her mother and brother and didn't want to help with the bills. This summer, Mary Jovovich is the freeloader. That's not my sister's name, but I don't think people need to know my actual sister's name. I don't think that's safe for them to know. But I love doing that voice. I can do that voice, and I can do this voice right here. I'm real good at these voices. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I used to love, like, I talked about Macho Man Randy Savage one. Step into a Slim Jim! Oh, yeah! I love that guy. That was good. I like the way he said, oh, yeah. It was awesome. This video is way off. I like to talk, and I'm going to... Whenever a voice comes to me and I just want to start doing it, I'm going to do it. But this video has gone on way too long. I need to make another video. Or I need to find... I don't have the software. I need software for editing videos. If somebody knows some that's preferably free, because I'm not loaded. I've got Windows 7. I don't think it has anything that lets you do anything with movie files. Because I think Windows XP did. Windows 7 I don't think does. I'll look and I'll check, but I don't think it does. If anybody knows some free software, let me know. I'm not a cheapskate. I will pay if I had the money, but I just don't have the money. So, yeah, that's just a little shout out to everybody. If somebody knows something, let me know. Because I'm tired of re-recording a video just because I start messing up and going off on a rant. Because this video is almost 20 minutes long. I didn't even want it to be that long. I made my point and then went off into other stuff, which I should have saved for another video. So maybe I'll just kind of clip it if I can get the software. So if anybody can help, let me know. Anyhow, this has been the Goof. Just talking like an idiot. This has been the Goof. I will see you later. Bye.